Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere north of Epstein Island. My name's Brian Engelman. Today is Wednesday, September the 3rd, 2025. And what are you watching right here? We do a lot of different content here at the New American Media. What have you tuned in for today? Well, let me tell you. It's called the TNAM Daily Show. Where are we watching this again? Right here on the New American Media, because the old American media has failed you. You're sick of watching them. They're literally just programming you with bullshit. So we unpack the news together each day. We dump it out on the table. We sift through it. We're like a bunch of little TNAM raccoons just digging around and bunch of trash pandas, the TNAM trash pandas. I'll give that to John. John, you want to make an AI image of the TNAM trash pandas softball team? You can show me, you can show John. That's you. Show Marion, Kenneth. Hello, everybody in chat. I'll just pull you up on screen since everybody's here. Well, not everybody. We're waiting on Unholy Hoax. We're waiting on David Bann. We're waiting on so many of the regulars, the TNAMers. Welcome. To those of you who joined yesterday, thank you so much. We gave you season... Here, let me see if I can pull up the image. No, it's not. Well, I can give you this one. No, not that one. This one. Although I do have a new image. I wonder if I can grab it as a recent so I can show you from yesterday. Yeah, right at the bottom. There we go. We kind of updated the logo a little bit. Let's see if it actually fits to frame. Oh my gosh, it actually fits to frame. Look at that, everybody. Strictly Football Season 2, Episode number 1. It's the NFL Season Preview. I could have put 2025 NFL Season Preview, but it's okay. I was having some issues with my uploading. I was having some internet issues, so I did what I could when I could with what I had at the moment. But yeah, Strictly Football. Season 2, Episode 1. We did 25 episodes last year with myself and Mike Barra. And then, of course, Jim Mitchell had joined us for many of our shows last year, and I think he's going to be a regular this year. And then Ezrael Robinson, my dude, my home slice from Los Angeles, California. We were talking football, and it was glorious yesterday. So please check out the show. Please share it. Maybe go to the show and send it to a couple of your crazy football fans. I know you know a couple. Just say, hey, my buddies do a football show. They do an episode. We might be doing 2 episodes a week, by the way, because we've talked about this, and yesterday was a fairly good indicator. We have a lot to talk about when it comes to sports. Like we cover the game of last week, and then we cover the upcoming games. So this week, I think we're going to have another episode. What's today? Wednesday now? Plan on doing an episode tomorrow, Thursday, where we'll do the betting. Jim Mitchell provides us betting tips. The whole sports world has gone gaga for gambling. I urge caution amongst all of you. Look up Tim Donaghy point shaving scandal in the NBA. There's so much more to it, by the way. I would be very careful of wagering any serious amount of money. The thing I do like is playing fantasy football. I'd actually love to have another. All right, question of the day. Type it in the comments. QOTD. Would any of you want to play in a dynasty fantasy football league? I'm in two TNAM fantasy football league dynasty leagues. I'm not saying I'm going to set one up because it is a little bit of work and I just don't need any more on my plate, but I'm just kind of curious. But yeah. We had a good time covering sports yesterday. So please support that program, share it out, copy paste, copy and text it to a couple of your sports fan friends and see if they might like it as well. But today we're covering all of the news, and what's in the news. Epstein documents have dropped. Oh, you read that right. Also, Richard Branson, Obama, Clinton in the spotlight. What does that mean? We'll break it down for you. And you know what? I have sort of neglected our X feed. There have been so many stories each and every day. It is impossible to deliver you all the news unless I do a 4-hour show, which is fine. I'm capable of doing it. I suppose a dream job of mine might have been, or would be, to do a program similar to Coast AM, a 4-hour show. Could be overnight. I don't care. It is a Herculean task to try to deliver you the news in 90 minutes each day. Lord knows, Lord help me. I tried when I was doing all those shows with Blake Wally. He had a 60 to 90 minute turning into a pumpkin rule. Just more power to him. Everybody has their limits, right? But I kind of crack my knuckles and start warming up after 60 minutes. So, there's stylistic preferences, and I understand the value of doing things, that way. But yeah, I would love to do a 4-hour show and actually get to all the news. The past couple shows, man, I'm plowing through it. I have so much to do. There's so much on my plate. Yesterday, doing 2 shows and trying to get the graphics ready, and a little bit of success and a little bit of, damn, I wish I had a little bit more time, and a little bit of, damn, stupid Spectrum screwed me again. Running the internet speed tests, and you're getting 500, 600 megabytes upload or download, but none of the upload. And you're like, you can't even send an email of a photo that someone texted you, so you can't get it onto your iMovie to build you the show intro that you were planning on doing, but you should have done it earlier, but you didn't have the pictures earlier. So technically you couldn't. And that delay meant I didn't get to have the show intro, but I'll try to have a show intro for tomorrow if I can. But I'm juggling chainsaws and apples, and I'm trying to grab the right things at the right time. And it's a lot, It's a lot. But I feel like I've neglected our X feed. So maybe today I want to plow through Instagram and really dig into what's going on X. If you're not following us in all the places, please follow us. I'm looking here on the comments. A lot of people seem to be joining us on YouTube. By the way, if you're on YouTube and you have the emoticon, hit the heart button, hit the what is that? That's a confetti button. Hit the 100 button. Type your comment. You always type your comments, which is great because that shows the algorithm that somebody gives a shit. It's not just people hanging out. Like the comments. The comments. Must feed the algorithm. And that is what we're doing, by the way. Let me give you a quick update on Monetization Watch 2025. Dun, 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 dun. Breaking news. Okay, so we have now crossed another threshold. Oh, this number is different. We were at 2656. Let me hit refresh. Now we're at 2708 valid public watch hours. That means we're into the 200s. We need 200 and something pennies. Each penny is theoretically a wishing well measurement. 1 hour watched of the New American Media content is a penny in the wishing well on YouTube. So if you would be so kind to continue grabbing some extra YouTube content from the New American Media channel, pressing play, letting it play on a device, playing it while you're out, just hanging out or mowing the lawn, or put it on 3 or 4 devices. We're trying to cross that threshold and allow some doggone monetization back on the channel. It'll allow super chats and subscriptions. And I jumped into another show yesterday and I was watching the super chats. It was like $20 comes in, $10 comes in, $5 comes in. You're like, yes. Yeah, that it's like when you bartend a shift, you get $5, you get $10, you get $15, you get $20. And by the end of the day, you get $200 sometimes. And if you get $200 a day, then guess what? You can pay all your monthly bills. So the exact number on YouTube is 292. We need 292 pennies in the wishing well. That's an hour of viewed content. I think you might need your volume up to 1 for it to count as a documented hour for a valid hour. So if the volume's at least 1, I think it should count. But your support is super appreciated. Thank you. immensely. And also thank you to 3 groups of people. 2 groups of people. Thank you to all people, actually. Well, not those people, but the other people. No, I didn't mean those people. Stop. Don't be that way. Okay, I did mean those people. You know what I mean. No, I didn't mean those people. Stop. Hey, question of the day. When I said those people, who did you think I meant? I shudder to look at the comments. What did you think I meant when I said those people? But I want to say thank you, number one, because it's the beginning of a new month. Thank you to everybody on Patreon who has gone to the New American Media. Let me just put it up on the screen real quick before we jump into the news. Thank you to everybody who signed up to the New American Media on Patreon. It's a new month, so there was another batch of donations that we were able to transfer over to one spot. So then we take it from there and then we transfer it back to pay, what is it here? $190.79 to Best Buy so that we can keep our, the hell is it called? Best Buy renewal that includes the Apple Care program for the $4,000 computer I had to purchase because the other one didn't have the processing power to deliver you a live restream show where I could restream the show onto X, where I have to pay $90 a year. And it's just, it all builds up. So whatever you sent me on Patreon is going right back in to pay this Best Buy so that I can maintain my Apple Care protection on this multi-$1,000 instrument that I use to broadcast the news to you. So this is a symbiotic relationship. We can't get our advertising on places like YouTube where we have our biggest audience of 6,500 subscribers, millions of views, 1,900 videos over 14 years. So we get it where we can and we crowdfund. So thank you. The cool thing about Patreon is the consistency. When we see who signed up and we post twice a month, we know what is going to come in that month. And that's awesome. It means the world. Thank you so much. Also, the next batch of people I want to thank, the 2 of you, at least yesterday, 2 of you were so kind as to toss money in our tip jar. Yes, my name's Brian. You can call me Brian the bartender. I've been called Brian the teacher or Teacher Brian, right? Class is in session. John's made a meme about that. But yeah, I've been a bartender for a long time, but I do have a tip jar. That's on Venmo and Cash App. That's at my name, BrianEngelman, BrianEngelman. Scrolling, so if you can pause it and just click it there. Also on PayPal, the email address to send it to is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. So thank you to the 2 people who sent over gracious donations into the tip jar. One was like, hey, let me get your lunch. I was like, oh, heck yeah. Awesome. Thank you. And then the other was like, hey, here's 1/50th of your monthly operating expenses. Boom. This is from a regular donator who may or may not be in this comment section. I won't call you out publicly, but I'll shake your hand. Thank you so much for your continued, repeated support of the program. It's, it's like playing like Mario Brothers or something, like playing Super Mario. You hit that question mark and you go, you either get, you level up. Let's just say you get a mushroom and you get to level up, or a flower and you get to shoot fire. Your donations level me up and it's like, okay. All right. I do see a light at the end of the tunnel where I can do this full time and pay all my bills doing it this way. And I don't have to trudge 40, 50, 60 hours a week working 1 or 2 jobs just to get by. So yeah, your support in the tip jar is like the mushroom on Mario. It's a boost. It's a Mario. Select player. So thank you all for the donations and the support, from watching the show, from sharing the show, from commenting on the show, for coming back to the show. The TNAM regulars are a special breed. But at the bottom of the screen here, I put the next one up. Just a reminder, like I said, you're on YouTube. That's great. But if YouTube didn't show up tomorrow, and we can't trust Meta, Instagram, Facebook, we can't trust X, Google, or X, Twitter. We can't trust Google, YouTube. Any of these platforms could be gone in a moment's notice, and we don't want you to lose contact with us. So we are in the following places. The New American Media can be found on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odysee, Twitch, Kick and D Live, YouTube. It's all at the New American Media. Sorry, that song sucks. We're on Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. Our X feed is at American_media_. And our podcast can be found under the Agree to Disagree show on Spotify and Apple. For our sports stuff, you could make sure that you are subscribed to our podcast called The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. That's our podcast for the sports show. We also, by the way, if you're not following us, maybe take a quick second. We have a YouTube channel for the New American Media. It's all sports. That one is all sports. The New American Media. So that way, if something on the politics side ruffles some feathers with the demonic deep state, and they're like, you can't exist on our YouTube anymore. Haha, we're stealing back our 1900 videos over 14 years where you thought you were building a career where you could grow and thrive. We're going to throttle you and hide your content. In fact, we're just going to delete you. You'll be deplatformed. Okay, well, if that's the case, go to Rumble. If that's the case, go to Facebook, go to X, go to any of the other places because we exist on those other platforms so that we are not going to be abusable like we were just a couple of years ago, just like a year ago. I mean, I can't overstate just how crucial it has been that Trump got in office to reverse a whole bunch of stuff. And you're seeing it across Europe, by the way. You're seeing sovereign nations standing up saying, hey, if Trump can defend his country, I can defend mine. There's a global invasion happening. It's super weird. There's been a multi-decades-long push to either sterilize children, confuse children, chop up children, traffic children, abuse children. It just the amount of debauchery and demonic deeds done during. Sorry, I'm just trying to use D words. During this time frame, it's incalculable. But really, since the 60s and the inception of the birth control pill, which, by the way, can really cause lifelong changes to you, your health, your personality, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, most people everywhere are having fewer and fewer kids. The currency is getting devalued by the day by a corrupt private Federal Reserve banking cartel of slave masters. They're fucking slave masters. Can we stop calling them bankers and calling them usury artists? Their goal is to hook you with a fish hook. They just want to catch you on the cheek and pull you out. Or better yet, they want to re-release you back into a cage where you go foraging, but they take 10% every week, every month. They're slave masters. They're modern slave masters committing usury. And I know that there's some cultures that aren't there in Islamic and Jewish cultures where you're not allowed to charge interest on things? Well, why is it tolerated outside of the Muslim and Jewish communities? Tell me that. Riddle me that. You know how much cheaper it would be to own a home if you weren't paying 85% of your monthly payment to the fucking trash can, the toilet, flushing it down the tubes? I have a very modest mortgage. And I'm looking at it, 90% of it goes down the drain. It's all front loaded to interest. So you have a system where they're devaluing the currency so much that it's almost impossible to financially afford having a family. So people stop having families. Oh, well, that's good because gender's a construct or something. And by the way, you're non-binary. And by the way, you need to dye your hair purple and get a face piercing too. And by the way, don't you hate modernity? Don't you hate culture? Don't you hate America? Don't you hate capitalism? And don't you hate those children? Why don't you just be selfish and live your life without children? And I chased my dream in my 20s. I moved out to Los Angeles. I'm still chasing a dream. I've never really been able to close my eyes and see success determined by somebody else. I've always viewed work and jobs as means to an end. Work as much as you need to, but like the rest of it, like you got to live your life. But, family is important. I don't have kids at the moment, but, losing Nimbus, you can buy. I didn't even know you were there. It just kind of reminds you that maybe we should be having some kids. Maybe we should be creating more people and raising them with our own values so that our country can remain strong. But guess what? Here's the trick. The Ponzi scheme doesn't work unless there are dupes paying into it. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a pyramid scheme. You know how these things work, right? So if we're not having enough kids, let's flood each country with a third world or traffic poor, destitute, impoverished people that nobody would know if they were missing. Nobody would care if they were missing after being abused in horrific ways. And maybe we could overthrow all the nations of the planet in a caliphate if all the wimpy whites would just be scared into silence. And I'm not allowed to talk about my country being invaded because I'll be called a bad name by a demon of the deep state. Okay. You've already called everybody all the names in the book. That doesn't work anymore. Guess what? You used to control all the media. Television, radio, the printed word. That shit doesn't work anymore. So now they're getting desperate. Now they're talking, we lived through 5 years of COVID hell. And the totalitarian nonsense that came with that. We're still trying to unpack it. By the way, update in Florida, it looks like they've banned all mandatory vaccines, all of them across the state of Florida, to a round of applause. I'll get to that story in a second. But things, they are a-changing. And as long as we have the internet, we have a chance, which means if I were a bad guy, I'd take the internet down. So act accordingly. I don't mean act accordingly because I'm a bad guy and I'm about to do it. What I mean is, if I'm thinking it, of course the bad guys are thinking it. They used to have a stranglehold on reality until we became the media. We became the fucking new American media. We are in charge. We're not going to allow ourselves to get lied to. I put that up on the screen. I don't know where it went, but I put it back up now. Look at me. I am the media now. Look at you. You are the media now. So we're going to talk about all the stories. They blew up a boat outside of Venezuela, I believe. The wars that Trump is trying to stop in Gaza and in Ukraine, they're not stopping. Trump's trying. I'll give him an A for effort. But you can't fix crazy. Oh, yeah. Who's crazy? Are you a Putin puppet? Oh, don't you hate Russia? Don't you want to blow up Russia? Don't you want a nuclear World War III because Russia? Yeah, Ukraine is about the most corrupt planet on earth as well. And weren't there Ukrainian connections to the assassins that tried to take out Trump? Yeah, are we allowed to talk about that? We know more about this Minneapolis church psychopath than we do about the guy from Butler more than a year ago. Make that make sense. Oh yeah, who are the sociopaths in Gaza? Don't you mean it's the Jews? Isn't it the Jews? Don't the Jews do all the bad things? And then the other side will say, well, don't you mean it's Hamas, it's Palestine? All they do is attack those goddamn Islamists. All they do, they want their caliphate everywhere. And they just hate Israel because they're the only beacon of freedom in the Middle East. And you hear it on both sides and you're like, can I pull all of my hair out? Can I hate all other groups that are not me? I'm a group of one. I don't hate me most of the time. We're allowed to hate ourselves from time to time. I don't need to pick a team. Oh, yeah. Are you pro-Russia or pro-Ukraine? I'm pro-America. Fuck off. I don't care. Oh, my God. See, you're trying to say you're the news guy and you're trying to let us know what's going on, but you don't care. I knew you didn't care. You're just playing a fucking role. No, I don't. I'm not going to wave a flag of Russia or Ukraine. I'm not waving a flag of Israel or Palestine. Why the fuck would I do that? I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. I'm an America fan. I like my team. I would like to watch people stop needlessly dying. And there's the argument, is it needless to end Hamas's reign of terror in the West, or is it the West, in Gaza? Because they won't stop attacking their neighbors. Well, yeah, at some point, if my neighbor right over there kept firebombing me, kept attacking me, and butchered 1,200 people at my backyard barbecue, you're damn right I'd burn their fucking house down. Oh, yeah, well, they're only mad at you because you burned their house down. You took their land. This property used to be theirs all these years ago, 70 years ago. It was their land, and somebody came in, some rich, greedy developer stole it. It was the Rothschilds. In 1947, they stole the land, and that's the only reason that Israel's there, and that's why they deserve to be destroyed from the river to the sea. Exterminate them all. I mean, whoops. I mean, we just want our freedom, and we think Netanyahu's a monster, and he's a genocidal maniac, not me. I hate all this shit. I hate it all. I fucking hate it all equally. Who's right? Who's wrong? I hope you're enjoying this little voice on my show. I don't know if it's an angel or a demon, but it's like the whiny complainer that always has the antithetical opinion to whatever it is I'm saying. It's just like the contrarian. I don't know. Nimbus, am I right? Yeah, I'm right. Nimbus is right. Nimbus is ready. Kenneth is procrastination. How do you feel about frilly toothpicks? I'm for them. Well, then we shall form a club. All right. So we're going to talk about all the news stories. Thanks for joining. Let's launch. Where did it go? Wait, there it is. The TNAM Daily Show, a division of the Agree to Disagree show here on the New American Media, starts right now.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's get into what was I just? Oh, okay. I think I misread. Wait, no, wait. There we go. Okay. Let's jump into our Instagram feed and see what's going on in the universe. So Joey Manarino is showing us this is allegedly an Islamist threatening people with knives in France. Europe has been invaded. Remember what happened before? Remember the Crusades? It's just like we're replaying this. It's a global conquest that's occurring in Europe right now. They're trying to do it in Canada. They're trying to do it in the United States. They're trying to do it everywhere. All right, so this is Marseille, France.
This is Marseille, France, and you
I did say it right.
have an Islamist migrant yelling Allahu Akbar,
I don't know if I can hear him yelling that, so I'm not sure if that's accurate.
pulling out his knife, and the police end up having to take him down. Watch this, just watch this.
And by the way, if you ever find yourself, what does it say, Istanbul City? If you're ever in a situation like this and you have to draw down, one of the most important things you have to look at is what's behind the target. You could miss right, left, low, or high. you could go through somebody. What's behind that? So the proper angles are important.
I had to censor this.
And by the way, he was backing up, at which point they weren't doing anything, but then he turned around to advance again. It was like he was asking for
Part because I don't know what you can show on here. And there you have it. You have one less Islamic terrorist in Europe, but look at this. This is what you get when you go walk around the streets of Marseille, France. This is the reality now.
So, how prepared are you? If something happens and you're at the mall, you're at school, you're at church, like do you carry? Are you ready? Are you practiced? Are you trained? You know. Just a reminder, it's about domination. All right, let's bounce to the next story. David Harris is reporting a shocking University of Kentucky athlete who's been arrested. Oh, there's music, so I can't. This little thing here. Arrested after she hid a deceased infant in a trash bag inside of a dorm closet. So I don't know if that's the guy that did it. Oh, lucky dad. Police confirmed the 21-year-old Laken Snelling. Laken? What is with all these people named Laken? Member of the stunt team, arrested and charged with abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened. If you gave a stillbirth and you freaked out, put it in a bag. Like you have a duty to. I don't know. Very attractive young lady. Very serious charges here. So I don't. People are asking in the comments, why isn't there a murder charge? Well, we don't know that she was that she terminated the life of the birth child. She didn't. There was a story. I don't know if you saw it. We did share it on X, but we just didn't get to it. Out at Burning Man, that happened last week. There was a woman who gave birth on the playa out on the desert. She didn't even know she was pregnant. How do you not know you're pregnant? So anyway, that's a story to keep your eyes on as that gets unpacked. I'm not willing to judge her a monster yet. I don't know the circumstances. I mean, people freak out and people do dumb shit. That doesn't make them evil. I mean, if she starved the kid or suffocated the kid or ended the like, if she did that, then all right, we're talking about something. But she had a stillbirth, or I don't know. I just don't know. So I'm gonna withhold judgment, but that was a interesting story. So CNN here, a Chicago alderman is going to tell you their thoughts. After 50 plus shootings in Chicago over the weekend, that's insane. Take a listen to how they feel about things.
To respond to the argument that there were something like 50 plus shootings, 52 people, I should say, were shot in Chicago, 30 different shootings over the holiday weekend, 7 people killed. Aren't numbers like that still a problem that your city needs to address? What more can be done to address that?
Isn't that a problem? Of course it's a problem.
Well, I think that what we need to be doing...
What a weird voice. What a weird vocal affect.
What we need to do is...
what we need to do.
We also had a mass shooting in a Catholic school. We also have had...
what the fuck is he doing changing the subject?
Many instances... Where the administration has really escalated, exacerbated
and exacerbated
the violence in our country.
Exacerbated instances exacerbated violence in the country. What are you talking about? He asked you about the 53 people who were shot in Chicago. Answer it.
In our cities, Trump is a dictator. I think we
Okay, how do you feel about 53 people being shot in Chicago? Trump is a dictator. Trump is a dictator.
got to be very clear. He's trying to normalize.
Yeah, we have to be very clear. It's okay to have 53 people shot in Chicago because we don't value human life.
Violence. He's trying to normalize military deployment in America.
We're trying to normalize 53 people getting shot in a weekend like that's normal human behavior. And Trump is the dictator because he probably would have shot 53, except that he didn't. But we think that he would have if he could have. So we did it first.
American cities.
Because if we didn't kill 53 people, shoot 53 people, rather 7 or 8 have been deceased. If we didn't do it ourselves, then Trump would have probably done it because he is a dictator, except maybe he would have shot actually more.
Like LA, DC, Chicago, and many others to come. But what we have not seen is really a systemic investment.
How do you respond to the argument?
And by the way, since I filibustered that whole question and nobody knows what I actually had to say about the answer of why 53 people were shot in Chicago over the weekend, I just, you know, Trump is a dictator. Okay. Is he wimpy? Actually, I had one more thought, but I got to listen to this one more time.
That there
It was the final thought.
were something like 50 plus shootings, 53 people, 52 people, I should say, were shot in Chicago.
I don't care. You get the point. But there was one more joke I was going to make based on the. No, I'm going to listen.
30 different shootings over the holiday weekend, 7 people killed. Aren't numbers like that still a problem that your city needs to address?
What more can be done? Did you see what else happened other places? There's other problems, and
well, I think that what we need to be doing, what we need to do.
I remember what it was now. We don't have to subject ourselves to listening to this one more second. There are systemic problems. I filibustered long time. I did not answer the question, but if I can remember to use the buzzword that my radical Marxist professor told me when I went to college for free with shitty test scores because I was special and I went to school, they told me that I should say everything is systemic and they would think that I'm smart because Trump is a dictator. This is Chicago Alderman Byron Sigcho Lopez. It's always Trump's fault. These people only know how to deflect. They never take accountability for any crime in their own cities. I agree. Trump is a dictator. All right, let's take a listen. Epstein is back in the front page of the news. And by the way, is Epstein being back in the, you know how President Trump, Peter Ducey asked President Trump, when did you find out that you had died? It was a funny question because the press was saying, oh yeah, Trump's gone. Something's wrong with Trump. Trump's not Trump anymore. And this and that. And you're like, okay. So now they're trying to take the Biden playbook and spin it around. I got you. But this comes out like the day after the long holiday weekend. Do you think Trump was working on anything over the weekend? Yeah, he was golfing once. Was he doing any Epstein related stuff? Because bam, right out of the gate, they are attacking the Epstein story heavy. And by the way, what they're saying is directly contradicting what we heard from Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and Donald Trump. What the fuck is happening? Here's Representative Anna Paulina Luna, shared from the Shadow of Ezra account. Take a listen.
Bigger than I think anyone anticipated.
What she said there is, I think it's bigger than anybody anticipated. No, I think we all anticipated. It's exactly what we think. We've heard about the Anthony Weiner, Huma Abedin, Hillary Clinton laptop. We've heard about Epstein Island. We've heard about Diddy. We've heard about Harvey Weinstein. We've heard about Bill Cosby. We've heard about Oprah and the NXVIXM cult or whatever that is. And we've heard about the human smuggling and trafficking. We've heard about the global slavery, the global slave trade. We're fairly aware that there are demons doing demonic shit. We're all just kind of confused why Trump and team denied it, right?
We are obviously going to be requesting the SARS reports from Treasury, and also too following up on that. There are some very rich and powerful people that need to go to jail. I think everyone's been frustrated as to why that hasn't happened before. But it is very much so a possibility that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset working for our adversaries.
There's a lot to unpack in this little statement, but let's focus on that one part. She didn't say that Epstein is a foreign asset. I'm sorry, how does she phrase that? An intelligence asset working for foreign countries. She said for adversaries. Could a Republican dare identify Israel as an adversary? Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, given the Israeli funeral of pomp and circumstance, some of the highest honors you can bequeath, and all the dignitaries showed up when he met his untimely fate in a boating accident. How unfortunate. Sure, he did. Sure. Adversaries. We keep hearing about Mossad. Mossad. Then you saw Trump right after the Epstein thing came up. He went and bombed Iranian nuclear facilities, and then Netanyahu was saying, "Oh, Trump should get a peace prize." And then Trump comes out and says, "Epstein, why? I don't know why we're talking about that guy. He was a creep. That's all." And everybody else sort of fell in line. It looked like a hostage video. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino lying to our faces that, no, nothing to see here. Epstein did this on his own. And, nothing to see here. No conspiracy. And you're like, so is he alive then? Or was he taken out by the deep state? Or did he actually do it to himself? I think him doing it to himself is by far the least likely. This guy was in the paper bedding community. You can't hang yourself from a paper sheet. There was nothing like those cells were designed to make sure that somebody couldn't harm themselves. Jails in general are designed so that people can't do things like this. So it's more likely that he's either offed by the deep state because dead men tell no tales, or he was shuffled out of there real quick, kicking it in the Caribbean with Biggie and Tupac, maybe. But it's interesting she said Epstein may have been. I think the may have been should probably be dropped at this point. I think we're all certain. It's okay. We'll keep it for the moment, but can we please drop it? Foreign intelligence working for adversaries. Is that because adversaries implies any non-United States country, or does that mean that Israel is an actual enemy? If we were told that the Epstein thing was a lot about money and it was just about banking, okay, so are the bankers our enemies? Can we go after the bankers if they're the demons? Can we? Now, I don't mean Luigi. I mean like actual real trials, jury of your peers. Maybe we end usury. Maybe we boost the purchase power of our dollar bill again. Maybe a man and a woman could get married and have a couple kids, and hey, it's 2025. Somebody could stay home with the child or children, and somebody could go work a full-time job and earn enough money to pay for the house and the car and the insurance, and then 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 the insurance on the insurance. Seriously, look at your bills. Car insurance, home insurance, renter's insurance, health insurance, life insurance, insurance. If the bankers, because Epstein he was money launderer, he was a money router, he was a money guy. That's why Les Wexner loved him, allegedly. Are the banking cartels our enemy, and are we finally allowed to talk about it and do something about it? Are we tired of being slaves? I'm very interested. Anyway.
But also, too, I think the questions that we have is how much did our own government know about it?
How much did our own government know about it? Know about it? Participate in it?
So there's more to follow, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from the chairman momentarily, but I do applaud the victims from coming forward, because we heard from a woman who was as young as 14 years old when she was victimized multiple times by Jeffrey Epstein, so that's hard to hear.
Will you sign the discharge petition, the massive discharge petition?
I think that the files will probably be released prior. I don't know why Comer hasn't. I think that he should do it, so it wouldn't even have to come to a vote. But I mean, obviously, I've been a huge advocate, even when I was the only one in Congress calling for the release of this file. So I think I'd be happy to, yes.
And so this was a bunch of victims came out and they gave their testimony. Nancy Mace got triggered, had a panic attack, and walked out. She's the victim of a horrific abuse case. Her and Laura Logan. There's a lot of prominent people that have been victims of abusive acts. And Nancy Mace was filmed. Like the story is that she got triggered and had a panic attack and couldn't listen to the victims. And so I guess the victims, yeah, be careful, victims. But they said they're releasing their own reports. They have the names. They know who was there. They know who was up to what. They're releasing their own stuff. They're sick of waiting. They're sick of the lies. And can you blame them?
Thank you.
What do they call for the victims? Do they want those files released?
The victims want information to be out there, but they don't want
the victims want information to be out there, but they don't want their personal information, I think, for good reason to be out there. So I think from the get-go, even the Attorney General stated that there's victim information that you have to make sure that's private, being that some of the victims also, too, are as young as 14. That's child pornography. No, thank you, guys. Guys, let her through. Bigger.
Yeah, by the way, nobody suggested that we publish child corn. Nobody. But we want to know. You've seen this meme before. They've changed it. Usually dad says something awesome. The kid's like, "Hey, Dad, why were you awesome?" And his other kid is like, "Fucking legend." Well, here's what it is now, at least in Europe. The child wearing like an all-black Casper the Friendly Ghost costume that they want to impose with Sharia law everywhere for some reason. The kid says, "Daddy, what did you during the..." Okay, let me try this again. "Daddy, what did you do during the Islamic takeover of England?" "I avoided being called Islamophobic." The kid playing down here. "Fucking loser." Are you a loser? Are you a fucking legend? You know, history has been taught to us by radical Marxists for decades. And by the way, Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was involved in making sure that he gave us the version of history that fit their agenda. So I feel like it's not whitewashing history. It's really just lying about it and changing the narratives in general. Raise your hand if you had been taught that the Crusades were evil and Christianity's evil and they were colonizers and crusaders and all of that stuff. Were you taught that? I was fucking taught that. The Crusades were to repel the Islamic invasion. The same thing you're watching, funded by George Soros, allegedly. Hundreds, dare I say, thousands of non-governmental organizations that are governmental because they're funded through the government. So it's a lie to just, it's like if they say, "Oh, they're completely safe and effective." You're like, okay, so they're not safe or effective. Whatever I'm referencing. Safe and effective. What is happening across the globe, and what were the Crusades before? It was to repel the Islamic invasion that tried to form a caliphate across the globe and dominate every single piece of land on earth. The Crusades were the pushback against that shit. And for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, it's been happening again, slowly, slowly, slowly. You didn't blink and have Dearborn turn into Dearborn. You didn't blink and have Minneapolis turn into Minneapolis. We've played you videos where they're on camera. The Islamic believers are saying, "We're going to outbreed you. We're going to replace you. We're going to remove your form of governance and implement Sharia." Because as it's been said millions of times, Islam is not a religion. Islam is a political endeavor. that uses the arm of religion to enforce its dogma, its law, its Sharia law. Dominance, domination. This whole thing like, oh yeah, we're going to get in the middle of the roads and we're going to bow down and make a bunch of noise and ring bells or do the stuff. Yeah, we're going to have a call to prayer every 20 seconds. That's domination. That's pulling your pants down on the subway and saying, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Here I am. Yeah, I'm doing this thing. Yeah, we're doing this publicly. What are you going to do about it? No, see, I'm in charge. Look at me. I'm your captain now. I can do whatever I want. And by the way, we're going to keep doing this until you jump on. Or you'll be destroyed. Join us or get destroyed. That's their plan. Join us or get destroyed. And the amount of abuse that's been happening across Europe, across America, from illegal alien invaders is just atrocious. It's an ongoing war. This isn't hyperbole. This isn't I'm not trying to be clickbaity. Ooh, you're so edgy. No. This is a war to dominate every sovereign nation through invasion. And somebody's been fucking funding it. So whether it's Europeans or Americans, we've been living too good for too long, so the bankster demons keep stealing more of our money. Inflation. Oh, we're managing inflation. Oh, you're managing it. How about you manage to get rid of it so our money can actually purchase some shit and we can live a decent life? How about that? That's not in their plan. See, if we've been living too good for too long, collecting too big of pensions, well, just replace all those people, all those worthless breathers, with a bunch of slave labor. Yeah, pennies on the dollar, no rights. Can't begin to tell you how many hundreds of thousands / millions have just disappeared because of the evil stuff we do to them. Think Epstein. Think war. Think bigger. So yeah. Hey, Dad, what did you do during the Islamic takeover of England? I avoided being called Islamophobic. Fucking loser. Don't be a loser. Don't allow your countries to be invaded by people who want to impose Sharia law and take away your rights. You don't have your Bill of Rights if Sharia is implemented. That's oil and water. They are not compatible. Non-compatible ideologies. You cannot be both. It's one or the other. And I pick the Bill of Rights and the Constitution every day of the week. Oh, you're phobic. Huh? I'm pro Bill of Rights. I'm pro Constitution. And anything that tries to subvert that ain't going to fly. Wait, who's MTM rolling in her casket? Marjorie Taylor Mean? I don't know who MTM is. Hey, let's talk about the money and how things are.
Your dad built a house at 30. You're renting at 30. Same effort, new economy.
Yeah, our parents were buying homes in their 20s, and now you're renting in your 30s even.
Your mom raised 3 kids without a degree. You have a degree.
Oh, doggone it, there's stupid piano in the background. Fucking hell, stupid. And you know what? I hate that this has taught me to hate music. I'm a musician. I want to play music. And the goddamn policies of YouTube keep me from playing this little bit. I want to hear her voice, not mine. Yeah, your mom raised 3 kids. You have a degree, but you have 3 side hustles to get by. Just to survive. They bought groceries for a week on one day's pay. You work 2 jobs to fill half the cart. This isn't about who's working harder. It's about how much the game has changed. Stop comparing progress to theirs. They played in rookie mode. You're an expert with inflation, digital pressure, and a world that never sleeps. You didn't fall behind. The starting line moved. The rules shifted, and you're still in the game. So stop the guilt and stop the shame. You're not too late. You're building under pressure that they never had. Keep going. You're not broken. You're just building in a different world. There's some truth to that. That's Coral Santoro. Never saw her before. Okay, what is happening here? They say this is Florida. Can I get the actual Judge Murphy? Judge Murphy. Check this out. They say judge beats up a guy's lawyer mid-court, comes back solo like nothing happened.
You want to set it for trial, set it for trial.
All right.
If you want to set it for docket setting, set it for docket setting. I'm not waiving in any case. This is an
You know,
emergency
if I
created
had
by
a
the
rock,
state.
I would throw it at you right now.
You know, this is
Stop.
You know, if I had a rock, I would throw it at you right now. That's not very judgely behavior.
Stop pissing me off. Just sit down.
Stop pissing me off. Just sit down. Huh.
I'll take care of it. I don't need your help.
Now,
Sit
you know
down.
what? I'm the public defender. I have a right to be here, and I have a right to
I
stand
said
and represent
sit
my
down.
clients.
If you want to fight, let's go out back and I'll just beat
Let's
The lawyer couldn't wait to hear that. Let's freaking go. He took 7 steps before he could finish his sentence. You want a piece of me? Huh? Do ya? Everybody, oh shit. By the way, on this screen with the video, for some reason on the bottom left, look at the language. Look what it says. It says normal. Maybe that's the setting they have it on for like the shutter speed or the filter or whatever camera setting. But there's nothing normal about this. This is highly unusual. Highly unusual. This is like Alexander Hamilton. We shall have a duel, good sir. Chaos in the courtroom. And now someone's shh, listen.
Thank you.
Imagine being the dude on trial here, watching this happen.
Thank you.
The people offer a mocking clap, or, oh my God, don't beat me up, or, oh my God, this guy's a lunatic. Let's appear like we're on his side so he likes us and just keeps hating that guy. Could you imagine?
Go Boston.
Man, I'm an old man. All right. Your choices, considering there's probably going to be a changeover in personnel, are setting it for trial.
There's probably going to be a changeover in personnel. One of the comments, why would the judge be fired? They had a gentleman's agreement. Nobody was assaulted. That attorney was a willing participant, as evidenced by him being the first one out the damn door. Hey, there's some truth in that. There really is. You know, if you choose to settle things in fisticuffs, I mean, you know, you want to take this out back? Let's take this out back. I choose to settle my thing this way. I don't know. Fighting isn't illegal. Huh. So now it's interesting because that lawyer was goaded by the judge into taking it outside, and he was the first one to run out there for it. I mean, he volunteered for that. I don't know. Maybe, where do you stand on this? Reading through this a little bit more, at least in the comments, saying this was from 2014. The judge was removed from office following a Florida Supreme Court decision. comment, I don't know, they could have left the court BS out of it, handled it like men, should be more common and legal since they both agreed to fight and left their posts to do so. They both technically consented. The issue is that any judge who thinks like this isn't fit to reside on the bench. The lawyer could have just went to go speak with the judge in private. I bet the judge even gave the lawyer a cheap shot when he walked into the back chamber. Yeah, we don't know. Response to that. If the judge says, if you want to fight, let's go out back, and the lawyer says, let's effing go. Mutual combat demonstrated by the judicial branch itself. I appreciate the lawyer for standing on business and fighting for his client. The ovation is peak Americana. The lawyer took that defender part real serious. Went outside and defended everything but himself. If he can't beat the judge, he can't beat the case. Take the plea, my boy. I mean, when he said, I'm not like other public defenders. I'll fight for you. I'm Saul Goodman. He meant that shit. There's a good point. How exactly did the judge get fired, but not the bailiff? The whole point of the bailiff is to keep the courtroom safe and protect the judge and staff. Considering there's probably going to be a changeover in personnel. Anyway, this was one of the wildest things I've seen.
Which would be June 9th.
I'm not waiting. If you want to set up for trial, set up for trial.
All right.
If you want to set for docket setting, set for docket setting. I'm not waiting.
Anyway, I just found that fascinating, and I hope you enjoyed that. But agree or disagree. There you go. The judge definitely deserved to be fired. Agree or disagree? I'm trying to play some new stingers. I have like 40 of them, but they're all in different folders, so I always use the maybe I need to rotate them out. Yeah, it's too much work. I need a producer. Remember earlier in the show when I was saying I want to do coast to coast? I want to do, but like, you need a team for that. You need a couple people to just handle the things, and you can focus on your thing. Let me fly the plane while you do all the stewardess stuff. All right, here's a good post. This seemed to resonate with me a little bit. Okay, good. We can read it. Most of us didn't start talking politics because we wanted to. We simply wanted to be left alone, but they decided to shit on our morals and tear our country apart. They activated us, and now we're here for it. Is that pretty well said? Do you agree or disagree with that? Most of us didn't start talking politics because we wanted to. I'd rather talk sports. By the way, check out Strictly Football. Episode 1 dropped yesterday. Episode 2 coming tomorrow. Agree or disagree that we simply wanted to be left alone, but they decided to shit on our morals and tear our country apart. They activated us, and now we're here for it. Agree or disagree? So I'll put "we're here for it" button. Doing stuff like that will get likes and follows sometimes. But this is, I'd rather not be doing this, but when everything's falling apart, I need to. Scott Jennings has activated a new mode that I wasn't sure that he had in him. Here he goes. That dopey VP from Minnesota. That goofy, compromised weirdo, Tim Walz. This is about the administration pushing back on speculation over Trump's health.
You had an opportunity to ask the president today about this, and you did not. Why?
Well, because when he got on the phone and sounded very much alive, I thought it would sound kind of stupid, frankly, to ask an alive person if they were dead. But I'll tell you who is a complete piece of shit. I'm going to tell you right now.
There have been a lot of swear words at this table
Tim
today.
Walz,
Okay.
the governor of Minnesota, holding up a phone in front of a rally saying, well, we thought we were going to wake up and find out the president had died. Someday it'll happen. Someday it'll happen. I used to say he was the biggest buffoon in American politics, but it's worse now.
Yeah, Scott Jennings dropping a cuss word on CNN. but it's a moderate word.
You had an opportunity to ask the president today about this, and you did not. Why?
Well, because when he got on the phone and sounded very much alive, I thought it would sound kind of stupid, frankly, to ask an alive person if they were dead. But I'll tell you who is a complete piece of shit. I'm going to tell you right now.
There have been a lot of swear words at this
Tim
table today.
Walz,
Okay.
the governor of Minnesota, holding up a phone in front of a rally saying, well, we thought we were going to wake up and find out the president had died. Someday it'll happen. Someday it'll happen. I used to say he was the biggest buffoon in American politics, but it's worse now.
There you go. Did you see Tim Walz do that? They are very violent people. All right, so did you hear about Space Force? Space Force may end up saving the day when all is said and done, by the way. But there's a pretty important update here.
It's a very important day and an important announcement with great friends of mine. I think I can say this group is every one of them, I rate a 10. I can't always say that, even if they're Republicans, and these are Republicans, great Republicans. I want to thank you all for being here for this important announcement, 7 years in the making. As you know, this has been going on for a long period of time, and I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City. Okay, so Huntsville, Alabama, we love Alabama. I only won it by about 47 points.
We love Alabama. I like when he gets the gravelly jump. But you know what? I mean, like, Trump and his numbers, his statistics, his percentages. I'm actually curious. Did he win Alabama by he said about 47 points.
I don't think that influenced my decision, though, right? That didn't, right? But we had a lot of competition for this, and Alabama's getting it, Huntsville in particular. So congratulations, everybody. Katie, congratulations. This will result in more than 30,000 Alabama jobs and probably much more than that, and hundreds of millions of dollars of investment, and that's billions because it can't be millions, it's billions and billions of dollars. Most importantly, this decision will help America defend and dominate the high frontier, as they call it. I want to thank Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's doing a fantastic job. And Secretary of the Air Force Troy Mink. Troy, thank you very much.
And it really is it has become almost impossible to do business in deep state Democrat, blue cities, blue states. People are fleeing because they're just completely run into the ground. There's no common sense. They're not prioritizing the right people, the right things. They don't respect the residents of the city enough to lock up the monsters. So every day you walk outside, you or your loved ones could be harmed by a dipshit that should have never been paroled or released or let out without cash bail. Like, to defend the future of this country, you need to put the key assets into states that are going to be on our side when this thing rips apart. And I don't know, maybe the Democrats are just going to absolutely dissolve into a slimy puddle of goo. They've earned it. They deserve it. Yeah, Colorado is an absolute mess. Kenneth, space between my ears, the final frontier. The other one, Trump was born to be alive. Now that sounds like a Simpsons line right there. David checking in from Ontario. Thank you. Making our show international once again. Appreciate you. By the way, hit like, hit subscribe, everybody, however you are watching. And maybe copy the show link, hit copy, and text a friend. Maybe put it up on Facebook and go, hey, or on X and say, hey, we're here every day unpacking the news, talking about it. Come join us. We're here hanging out. We're working and the show's on in the background. Come hang out with us. But yeah, I think there's a lot that could be said. Look, if it's good enough for Elon to get Tesla and SpaceX the hell out of California, then maybe it makes sense to do that with other things. Let these backward blue cities and backward blue states, let them crumble. It's just, they've been prioritizing and stealing for so long, prioritizing the wrong things and stealing for so long and just squeezing. You can't get blood from a stone. You can't get blood from a turnip. Look at what Hollywood did to the movie industry. They freaking crippled it. Yeah, you know that streaming has changed things. And you know, there's so many more options. It's not really that Hollywood failed. It's just that things have evolved. No. You ran production out of your place because you got too greedy. You killed the goose that laid the golden egg, which is one of the main complaints we have about unions in general, be it teachers unions or SEIU. Everybody wants benefits. Everybody wants pay. Everybody wants great things. But when you take, you're eventually going to kill the goose that lays the golden eggs, and now there's 0 golden eggs. Would you like a few golden eggs, or do you? No, I want 1 million. Okay, well, I can't. You must produce 1 million eggs. I'll keep squeezing you until you do. No, the geese are going to leave. They're going to go to Texas and Florida and Alabama. So, yeah. There's that.
Great job. It's a very...
So Space Force is going to Alabama. Nigel Farage here, shared by George Balfour Kinnear. Balfour, UK. Take a watch. Nigel Farage talking about censorship in the UK. It's a warning. Because once you scramble these eggs, good luck. You might not be able to get them back.
Guys have got the First Amendment. Let me urge you, be vigilant about defending your rights. Do not go down the path that we have. What is happening in my once great country is truly, truly terrifying. Free speech is being impinged upon in every single way. Satire is now almost banned. We've now even got potentially, with this socialist Labour government, they're thinking about bringing in a law on Islamophobia. America, take the warnings. Recognize why President Trump is...
And why do they call it a phobia? If I don't want something, I don't want it. And I will not have it. That's not a phobia. That's not an irrational fear. A phobia suggests an irrational fear now, doesn't it? So, I mean, I'm just a big proponent of processing the words that we use. If something is a phobia, okay. But if it's a preference, don't say phobia. Very, 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 very different.
Is brave and...
Talk about President Trump is brave.
True and right to control the southern border
and control the northern, east, and western border, too. Let's not just only do the southern border.
Make sure then let me ask keep your American culture. You guys have got the First Amendment. Let me urge you, be vigilant about defending your rights. Do not go down the path that we have. What is happening?
There you go. I agree. This was Nancy Mace. It was reported she left the hearing where Epstein victims were giving their testimony, and she, like it, you know, she was a victim of some bad stuff, and it's traumatic, and that's why I urge the death penalty for abusers. You know, I refer to stealing the innocence of a child as breaking their mirror. You only get one of those, and if that's taken from you, and I guess that could happen to an adult as well. Like if you're ever violated in a personal level like that, your mirror is shattered. And that's unforgivable. You don't accidentally, or like there's no forgiving that. There's just no forgiving it. Here we go. She didn't want to talk about her experience. She said she had a full-blown panic attack, according to Breaking 911. Hey, you want to hear a good story? I like playing some other stories, other things. Fee-fi phobia. Yeah, 1984 is here. In the UK it is. Oh, and it was under Obama in that Biden disaster, Obama's third term. But hey, here's a great story. Let's at least sneak one great story in here. Toxic masculinity saving another life. Here's West Point football player Larry Pickett Jr., sophomore at West Point, on his way home after a football game.
Larry Pickett Jr., a sophomore at West Point, was on his way home after playing in his very first college football game this weekend. His whole family and girlfriend riding together when they saw a car that had just crashed into a utility pole. The power lines down and sparking.
My father and I, we both hopped out of our car to go run towards the car that crashed. We saw that there was a gentleman in there that needed our help. Without thinking, we just reacted.
The driver still inside but disoriented, the car starting to smoke. Larry and his dad had to act quickly.
Come on, get him out!
We got him out of the car, got him to safety, and everything went down in just a couple minutes.
Moments later, the car catching fire, but the driver safely out of harm's way.
You see that car burning? That if nobody stopped, that guy would be cooking. He'd be done.
Yeah, it's a BMW. You gotta be kidding me. I'm just grateful that we got him out, honestly, because that could have gone totally different for him.
As first responders put the fire out, Larry and his dad in disbelief.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. You're a hero, sir.
His coach at West Point and even the Secretary of the Army agreeing, all praising Larry's heroic actions. And tonight, the West Point cadet with this message.
Help others when you can. Being in the right mindset and being ready to help when you can is a great thing.
Cadet Larry.
Bravo, young man. That's awesome. I love when I can talk about a good story. I just tell you what's happening. I scroll around and find things. All right, Anna Paulina Luna, let's read her press release. This is from 3 hours ago. Over 33,000 pages have now been released regarding Epstein. Our question was, why the coner up? No, that was the cover up. Hold on, I typed something. And Instagram won't let you edit, which is so stupid. They should let you edit and just keep the previous revisions. It's that easy. Okay. Some of the info on the Epstein victims' testimony today. There are over 33,000 documents. Names will be in those files. Per the victims, we need to follow the money trail. This is a well-orchestrated operation with many tentacles to include shell corporations, etc. Chairman Comer, via the House Oversight Committee, is sending a SARS request to the U.S. Treasury. Suspicious activity report. I don't know what the S is. I think it's suspicious activity report. There's a lot to uncut. I'm just going to ask Grok real quick. No, it's not severe acute respiratory syndrome. Banking meaning. Okay, it is just suspicious activity reports. So you could just ask for a SAR report. You know how people say an ATM machine? Do you ever say ATM machine? What does ATM stand for? Automatic teller machine. So why are you saying machine? Twice. It's redundant. It's unnecessary. It's incorrect. Exactly. Bravo. Great story. There it was, your moment of zen for the day. Suspicious activity reports request to the U.S. Treasury. There's a lot to uncover referencing the Deutsche Bank and how money was funneled and moved. Yeah, they were shell game artists. Epstein's network, according to Representative Anna Paulina Luna, was described as an international trafficking network to all members of Congress who were present, both Democrat and Republican, and also involved in trafficking women from Slavic nations as well. I never ruled out trafficking women from Slavic nations. Did you? I didn't think it was any one particular type of person ever. Did you? I don't think illegal aliens are coming from one particular place or one particular ideology. I reference Islam because they are trying to put Sharia law everywhere and dominate every square inch of the globe. You want to have your thing in your space and do your thing away from me and not bother me? You know, how much am I supposed to care about that? But you want to come next door and try to force me to live your way? Yeah, now we're in a totally oil and water non-compatible situation, but the people invading America are coming from China, Ukraine, Gaza, anywhere on earth could be sent. And a lot of them, the illegal aliens, are military-aged fighting men. Well, that's coincidentally the age where you could have the longest working career to pay taxes, and then maybe if you're not a citizen, not collect on it. And look, we saved our failing Medicare system for all the boomers. Look, we found a way to do it. Yeah, at the expense of destroying your fucking country in perpetuity. That's not a deal. That is the most short-sighted bullshit I've ever seen. If they think that's what they're doing, oh, Americans aren't having enough kids and we're all going to be bankrupt. We won't have our lavish pensions unless we dump a slave class in. Well, that's not a plan. And we never fucking voted for that. So that's stopping yesterday. Anyway. Yeah, Slavic nations. I never said it wasn't Slavic nations. That's a weird. Okay, so the International Trafficking Network went to all members of Congress who were present, both Democrats and Republicans, and also involved, what does that mean? Described as an international trafficking network to members of Congress. So there's Anna Paulina Luna. Is she implying that the point of the Epstein operation was to give members of Congress people to bang? It also involved trafficking women from Slavic nations as well as what? Is there like a primary place? Just Mexico, Central America? What are we talking about? Immigration fraud, etc. Many of those women have stayed silent due to fear of retribution. Foreign governments, as in more than one. Okay. So this isn't Israel. This is Israel plus. She's clarifying. Foreign governments were named to be working with Epstein. There's also the theory that Jeffrey Epstein was a free agent. He wasn't an asset of the United States. He wasn't an employee of the United States. He wasn't an employee of Mossad or Israel. He wasn't an employee of Russia. He wasn't an employee of China. He was a free agent. He'd traffic anybody to anywhere. He'd collect dirt on anyone as long as he could make a buck doing it. He didn't care. Maybe he was just a free agent, so multiple countries could make sense. Victim information, rightfully so, was redacted from release, but the committee as a whole is working to ensure that they will be given access to their information that was previously denied to them by other administrations. So other admins kept this info from coming out. Thank you to the Trump admin for handing all of this over. Foreign governments, hold on. Hang on. Where's the... Okay, there we go. One victim had her newborn daughter threatened for coming forward. Hey, remember when we talked about Bobby Kennedy and somebody came in here and was threatening me last week twice? Remember that? Oh, yeah, the demons are going to do their demonic shit, aren't they? They talk, don't they? Evil is real. One victim had her newborn daughter threatened. Fuck you. Epstein was still victimizing underage girls while on work release, while wearing an ankle monitor, only to spend the evening in prison. Unreal. And by the way, they said that they're going to bring in Acosta. Wasn't he in Florida? Wasn't he the one that said that that he heard them saying hands off Epstein, he belongs to intelligence? So that would imply that he did belong to the CIA. Wasn't the CIA started in the mid-40s when Israel was created at the end of World War II? Has the CIA ever been actually a pro-American organization? Have they ever cared about our country? Was it always just a deep state spy program? They claimed that they were, oh yeah, Central Intelligence. We're looking everywhere else. Weren't they only looking inward at the United States? I guess they were looking everywhere. But if they were never respecting our Fourth Amendment, weren't they always traitors to begin with? That whole organization, if they were created just to spy on Americans and pretend they weren't? I got so many questions. So yeah, they say Acosta is going to come in and testify, I believe is what I picked up on. The attorneys of some of these people implicated, those implicated individuals have apparently already tried to contact some of the victims' attorneys. Representative Comer is running point on this, and I'm fully backing the efforts. But I'm curious then why the cover-up initially? Who's Joshua Reeder? Oh, no, this is an AI bot. Okay, how do I make this big? Take a look at what John Boy did. Here's the TNAM Trash Panda going through the fake news trash of the day. Somebody has to do it. I love that it went so literal. Trash Panda means raccoon. Shout out to Trash Panda, by the way. He's an artist that knew my brother. And my brother bought a piece of artwork that he said reminded him of our mother off of him. And so he sent him a piece of art. But then after my brother passed, the guy reached out to me and sent me the original, which was super cool. CIA controlled Islamic agreement. Well, I mean, it's either Islamic or it's Jewish, right? Right. Got to blame them for everything, right? Say some people. Not me, not your pandemonium. TNAM Trash Panda. Going through all the fake news trash of the day. Somebody has to do it. Yeah, I would also like to see the TNAM Trash Pandas wearing a softball jersey. Like a rec league, beer league softball situation. We're wearing jerseys called the Trash Pandas. That's funny. Thank you for that. All right, let's go over here onto our X account at American_media_. Pinned to the top of our X feed is our interview with John B. Wells, one of our most frequent, regular occurring guests. And that is the link to our Patreon page if anybody would like to sign up to be a monthly contributor to the New American Media. If you would like to support the Trash Pandas in action, you can do so by clicking that Patreon link and signing up for like $10 a month or $100 a month or $1,000 a month, whatever you deem clever. It's all super appreciated. The TNAM Trash Panda. I forgot I asked for that. I just clicked over onto X and I'm that hit me in the funny bone. Thank you. Man, that's good. Okay, News Nation here showing the Trump press conference. Reporter asks about relocation from Space Force.
Yeah, please. On Space Command, sir, are you concerned that people may not be willing to relocate from Colorado to Alabama?
No, I'm not worried. We'll get somebody else. I mean, the problem with Colorado is they have a very corrupt voting system. Look, I have so many friends in Colorado. Anytime you have mail-in voting, you have corrupt elections. Very simple. It's very simple. Even Jimmy Carter said it with his commission. They set up a commission with him and Scoop Jackson and some people, highly regarded people. And they said the one thing, the finding was, if you have mail-in voting, you will have corrupt elections. Well, your radical left governor decided that he was going to have all mail-in voting in Colorado.
That's just not. Come on. You wouldn't put anything important in the mail. You just wouldn't. Now, I know I do reselling. By the way, if you're not following our reselling page, it's on YouTube, Picking Winners. Picking Winners resale. I mail things all the time. Like I'm not saying like, you know, I definitely appreciate our mail services, but no, you don't mail out mail-in voting to every single person, people that didn't want them, people who have moved. No. That is just so rife with fraud opportunities, or ripe with fraud opportunities, as it were.
Once you have all mail-in voting, and for whatever reason, the Democrats cheat, and they cheat like, you know, they're not stupid. That's the only thing. They're no good on policy. They're no good on management. They're no good at government, but they're great at cheating, and they stick together too. I give them credit for sticking together.
That's a terrible combination, but it's pretty accurate. Charlie Kirk says the U.S. has spent $2.7 trillion on Medicare and Medicaid funds overseas to ineligible residents. That's 8% of America's alleged debt. What? Okay, I'm sorry. This is not Charlie Kirk. This is Charlie Kirk News. It doesn't have a link to an article, an original source document or something, so take that with a grain of salt. I actually thought that was Charlie Kirk. Surgeon General of Florida announcing, well, just take a listen. Surgeon General of Florida, people.
But what I'm most excited about is an announcement that we're going to make, that we're making now, which is that the Florida Department of Health, in partnership with the governor, is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them. All of them.
This will work in 10.
All of them.
Why not just wave your wand and get it done?
Every last one of them.
And if you want to get one, you're allowed to. They shouldn't be banned, but you shouldn't be forced. That's been my point all along. Take it if you want it, but don't force it. And
every last one of them.
And don't tie the medical industry to making sure they only get their real good money if they go along with the vaccine plans and the prescription pill plans and all the stuff that the medical industrial complex is pushing. They get bonuses. Don't give them bonuses. Don't tie their pay. That's collusion. That is it's really a manipulation of our healthcare system. You know, pills mask problems. Lifestyle changes fix things. You take pills if you absolutely have to, but there's so many instances where people can correct some of the issues that they're having by choices. That's where we need to be focusing on. And of course, innovate and make some money and sell some products, but we got to properly test them and we have to properly provide information on them. And that stuff just hasn't been happening. It just hasn't been happening in this country for far too long.
All of them.
Listen to that applause. They are excited about that. COVID did quite some damage on this country.
Every last one of them. Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery. Okay?
It is slavery. Either you own your body or you don't. Come on, you know what I'm going to say. Yeah, well, how can you be pro-life if you're saying it's not my body, my choice, and I can't kill my baby? I didn't say that we need to advocate for a pro-life position in this country. I think a reluctant resignation of a pro-choice policy for people to make their personal decisions is probably the best path forward for a nation this size. And that encourages as many people as possible to choose pro-life. But that's a different conversation because your body belongs to you. The baby, that's only half yours. You created that with somebody else. That doesn't belong to you. That's a third person. But I want to kill it. You shouldn't want to kill it. Yeah, but it's not a baby until it's born. I heard somebody ask the counter reply. How did they phrase it? They asked about was Jesus before he was born, when he was in the womb? And the person was like, I'm like, Anyway, he called it slavery. And yeah, if you don't get to control over what's going to happen with your body and you're going to be forced into shoving things inside you might as well be on a casting couch in Hollywood.
Who am I as a government or anyone else, or who am I as a man standing here now to tell you what you should put in your body? Who am I to tell you what your child should put in your body?
That's between you and your family and your doctor. And if the things, the jabs are so doggone effective, you do you, boo, and you'll be fine. And if you're not going to be fine because of it and they don't work, then shut the fuck up. A little too harsh? Well, you shouldn't have fucked with us for 6 years.
I don't have that right.
I'm curious if this guy's pro-life. Because they're going to turn that around and go, you don't have the right? Well, then why are you telling a woman that she can't choose what she does with her body and her medical choice? Like I said, that involves a third person. That's not about the mother. That's about two people. And yes, of course, if there's something that's going to, put the woman's life in danger because there's something that went horrifically wrong, and then things do happen. Of course, we're not talking about those cases. But yeah, I would lay a wager down that this guy has the potential, being a Florida conservative, of being pro-life. And if he is, that argument is going to follow him real close. I'm curious to see how he responds.
Your body is a gift from God. What you put into your body is because of your relationship with your body and your God. I don't have that right. Government does not have that right. They want you to believe they have that right. And unfortunately, they've been successful. They've been successful.
So I don't know, some of his, but my question would be, does this mean that Ladapo, is the guy's name, Joseph Ladapo, is pro-choice about what women can do with their bodies? He seems to be almost making that exact argument about medicine. Little different, but, Oh, check this out. You want to see your hilarious moment of the day? Greg Price reporting, Jen Psaki does an entire segment claiming that Donald Trump is hiding something about his health because he took a few days off on a holiday weekend. By the way, this is the same woman who was Joe Biden's press secretary.
That's pretty serious stuff. Now, just to be clear, we went in just a very quick span there. We went from Trump saying he hadn't heard about the rumors of his death to Trump saying he did hear about them from reports, to then back to Trump saying he hadn't heard anything about any of it in the span of approximately 60 seconds in the Oval Office today.
Oh, okay. Oh, by the way, I looked it up. Trump won Alabama by 30.5 points, almost 31 points. So not 47, but 31 points. That's, Trump is known to exaggerate a little bit, and he's a salesman, and that's fine. You can be directionally true without being specifically accurate. I mean, 30 points is one of the biggest political blowouts you could imagine. So what's the difference between saying 30 and 47? It's not technically accurate, that extra 17%, but does that really change the message that things are going very well in Mississippi? Wait, I'm sorry. Where were they moving it to? Alabama. My bad. Anyway, Jen Psaki, who ran cover for Joe Biden's puppet presidency, the third and most honest term of Barack Hussein Obama. This disgusting mouthpiece for the demonic deep state.
Really can't make this stuff up sometimes.
Who is watching? Where's she at? MSNBC. Where was she at before? She's still around.
And look, we may never know why Donald Trump suddenly spent a week hiding entirely from the American public.
Hiding. We may never know. Why he spent an entire weekend. Did she say a week? I think she meant weekend. While she ran cover, while Joe Biden hung out in the basement, wearing his Depends, eating his chocolate chip ice cream. Spare me your crocodile tears here, lady.
But you don't actually need baseless online conspiracies to explain why he might not want to show his face in public right now. I mean, for starters, there's the polling, and boy,
the polling?
Is it brutal? Americans are more and more pessimistic about their lives right now. A newly released Wall Street Journal poll finds that
Yeah, okay. Hilarious. No, Americans are happy that we grabbed the steering wheel and kept us from going over the cliff. Kenneth is pro-choice. Choice ladies only. No fatties. All right. Let's talk about this. Multiple news reports. So the general put this out and said, breaking, Richard Branson's private island chef has died in what is being called a freak accident. Wow. You know, they talk about the most dangerous jobs on planet Earth. I think being a private chef to the ultra wealthy, I think that might be one of the most difficult, risky jobs to take. You are around everything. You hear everything. Right? Got to get rid of the chef. They've been hanging out in the same room. They're delivering all the food, listening to all of our conversations. Well, that's risky business. Remember when the Obama chef drowned? So Richard Branson's private island chef gone in what's being called a freak accident, fatally injured after driving an electric buggy off the road in Necker Island. Allegedly. I asked Grok, is this true? Because this is one of those things, it's like, I don't know what the general is. I don't see a source article here. By the way, what's that hand signal that he's putting up? It just means okay. Or it means threeper. Or it means Illuminati. I don't know. A-OK sign. Multiple news reports confirm that an executive sous chef, Seal Samdaka, 37, after a party, Necker Island, N-E-C-K-E-R, Necker. Make sure I'm enunciating that properly. Richard Branson stated he's deeply saddened. Sources Daily Mail, New Zealand Herald, and The Sun. Okay. It's a real story. Because that's how I go, I'll get to that, more of that in a moment. Scott Jennings says, this is what happens when you show up to an interview unprepared. Here's Anna Kasparian. Did I ever show you our Anna Kasparian video? Well, here you go.
Our national debt shot up significantly after 9/11.
Yes, it did.
After we started invading countries in the Middle East.
You should look at a chart.
Now we're at 30.
In 2008,
we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars on Israel, on Ukraine. I mean, honestly, these foreign conflicts have a lot more to do with our national debt as opposed to us paying into the Social
You
Security
think
system.
Israel is a bigger portion of our budget than Social Security, Medicare,
I think we
Medicaid?
spend way too much money
I'm
on
just asking you, as a
military
mathematical
aid for
numbers
foreign
thing.
countries.
You think
Absolutely.
Israel is more
Do
than
you
Social
think
Security?
that Social Security is more of an issue compared to how much money we just shell out for conflicts abroad?
matter of expenditures and math, yes.
Both entitlements and defense. Our national debt shot up significantly.
So she's right, but then they kind of twist it here into something else. Well, would you say that it has to do about the Social Security? You can look at the chart, and after 9/11, everything goes up for 24 years. The spending is through the roof. But I want to remind you, when we filmed Anna Kasparian, is that her right here in this shot? Let me exit full screen. Let me share this tab instead. It might be her right here on the bottom left before she went blonde, which is what some would call cultural appropriation. Anyway, this is the Young Turks. She's the executive producer of the Young Turks. There's Cenk Uygur, whatever his name is. I really don't know how to say his name. And here's Alex Jones. he's yelling at Roger Stone off camera. Then you'll see Jimmy Dore walk in. This is at the 2016 Republican convention in Cleveland. Blake Wally filming.
You know he's the biggest liar in media.
Media row.
You're the biggest liar in media.
Roger Stone, Jake Ogre, the Young Turks getting into a heated debate in the media room.
There's Roger right there with the light hair. The press gaggle has gathered here. I was a little further down.
Here at BrianEngelman.
He's actually you fucking coward. I think you should have come tonight.
There she is in the ride saying, "Get the fuck off the stage." And there she is fat shaming. You're supposed to allegedly not fat shame. She goes, "Get off the stage, you fat fuck."
Saudi Arabians are funny enough. First of all, hold on. We're against Saudi Arabia, you dumbass. We talk about that all the time. We talk about that all the time. You don't know shit. What do you think? The lizard people are in charge?
We're against Saudi Arabia. We talk about that all the time. What do you think? The lizard people are in charge?
What you think?
We've interviewed Cenk a couple times.
You're pissed. Is that what you think? You're the anti-liberal and you're pissed.
He says, "Yeah, you're the anti-liberal and you're pissed about this."
Shit, we're being nice here.
He says, "We're being nice here," Alex says.
I care about the American people. Good. You're the one flipping out.
You're the one flipping out. Now watch on the left-hand side. Comedian Jimmy Dore comes in and spits on Alex Jones.
I'm not going. Everybody get the fuck off my stage. Get the fuck off my stage.
What the fuck? What a fucking cowardly little bitch. Yeah, get the fuck out. I'm right here. Did you spit in his face? Right here. Did you spit in his face? I'm right here. Did you spit in his face? So I'm asking you, did you spit in his face? As I see, okay, fine.
Okay, fine. There's Anna Kasparian. In the middle of this talk. Anyway, that was just one of the interesting moments. Anna Kasparian. I don't know. I think they did a little sleight of hand action to get her in a gotcha here. Scott Jennings, though, saying the U.S. government spends nearly $3 trillion every year on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. The entire defense budget was less than $1 trillion in 2024. It was fun to tag team this insane lie. Well, no, I mean, it's not insane. You look at this, the spending has gone through the roof, the debt. Am I saying the right word? The debt, I can see the chart where everything spiked. Was it the national debt? Was it $1 trillion or $2 or $3 or $4? And then it went to 5, 10, 15, 20. What are we at? Where are we at now? 38 trillion, allegedly. Yeah, it shot up. And she's not wrong about that. But like shifting it to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, like that's a second conversation. So I don't know. More than 700 schools have been closed in Greece, according to Visegrad 24. Due to a prolonged demographic crisis, Greece has one of the lowest fertility rates in the European Union, around 1.3 births per woman, far below replacement level of 2.1. The population is rapidly aging while young people are leaving the country in large numbers. 721 schools in this academic year are closing after failing to reach the minimum threshold of 15 students required to remain open. Elon calls it the death of Greece. Hey, there we go, everybody. Here is Strictly Football, Season 2, Episode 1. So that was technically episode 26. It was a lot of fun talking football. Check it out. Here is Richard Branson. Let's listen to what he says on CNN London.
When I saw he was running for president, I just thought how dangerous to have somebody so vindictive in the White House.
Somebody so vindictive in the White House. Huh, vindictive. You mean somebody who might mete out justice to people who are monsters?
Eaten up with themselves. That for the first time in my life, I thought I ought to speak out and let people who believe that Trump is wonderful know that there is a side to Trump that is dangerous and rather unpleasant and certainly unforgiving.
Unforgiving. Why is he looking for forgiveness? Am I extrapolating too much from that? Unforgiving, huh? Branson was afraid of Trump entering the White House in 2016, all while he was attempting to remove the death penalty with Obama after having alleged blackmail tapes of him harming children. They knew that Trump knew about Epstein Island. Yeah, he was talking about it. Who's this poster? Karma. Make yourselves sheep and the wolves will eat you. So yeah, alleged blackmail tapes. MJ Truth Ultra says executive chef, sous chef, dies on Branson's Necker Island. Father of two from Cape Town, South Africa. Lost control of an electric buggy, crashed down a steep hillside, sustaining a fatal head injury. Following an all-night party. It's possible. Or he could have been taken out. The chefs know all the things. Red Pill Drifter says Richard Branson's chef. He's gone after attending a farewell party. Farewell party. Who was saying goodbye? I'm learning more about this story as you are. At Branson's Necker Island Great House. Was it a sacrifice? Who is Richard Branson? He owns Virgin. Virgin, huh? Remember we talked about breaking mirrors? Notice the logo written in blood. Well, maybe it is, maybe it's not. It is red. Richard Branson is the son of Eve Branson, who is a founding member, board of directors of the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children. What? I'm going to ask Grok, is this true? Claims in this post true. Oh, I didn't put at Grok. I haven't heard that one before. Eve Branson, Richard Branson's mother, was the founding member of the board of directors of the International Center for Missing and Exploited Children. What better way to get missing and exploited children, huh? You want to go pedophile hunting? Take a look at the teachers, look at the coaches, look at the Boy Scout masters, look at the ones that hang out with children all the time. I mean, how are you going to... If you like cooking fish, maybe you're going to hang out with the fishermen. Just saying. Okay, so they're saying that Richard Branson owns Necker Island, which is not very far from Epstein Island. Well, what does not very far mean? Where Branson allegedly hosted NXIVM sex cult parties. There's a lot of claims here. So I asked Grok, is this true? The Rothschild-linked Bronfman sisters donated millions to the cult, whose leaders, Allison Mack and Keith Raniere, were charged with child trafficking. Well. A lot of accusations here. Green Lives Matter says, so let me get this straight. Obama went direct. Now, did I ask if this is true? I'm going to ask this again. Are the claims of this true? These are all allegations. Everyone's innocent unless proven otherwise. Green Lives Matter says, so let me get this straight. Obama went directly to Richard Branson's island the day after he left office. Is that confirmed? Where they discussed eliminating the death penalty while Hussein was complicit in orchestrating a treasonous coup against Donald Trump. And now both of their chefs are inexplicably dead. But hold on. Richard Branson's island the day after he left office. Well, how are you going to eliminate the death penalty if you're out of office? I'm not quite following that. Remember, Richard Branson went on a crusade and claimed that Trump was extremely vindictive and dangerous, so he implored everyone to get rid of the death penalty, and the penalty for treason is death. Someone explain this to me because it's not adding up. I highly advise all chefs to stay away from Obama, Clinton, and these other high-level deep state players unless you want to drown in minimal water. It was reported as 3 or 4 feet, but I think it was closer to 7. Avoid these state players unless you want to drown in minimal water or get into an accidental crash. Are these people just trying to tie up loose ends? What is happening here?
When I saw he was running for president, I just thought how dangerous to have somebody so vindictive in the White House, so eaten up with themselves, that, you know, that for the first time in my life, I thought I ought to speak out and let people who believe that, you know, Trump is wonderful, know that there is a side to Trump that, you know, is dangerous and rather unpleasant and certainly unforgiving.
If you use the death penalty, that removes any chance of forgiveness or for the remorseful. And in this particular case, there are several of the defendants, many still in early adulthood, who've expressed enormous regret for their offences, and they resolve to live better, more purposeful lives. So, you know, we feel the death penalty would be a complete waste.
A real pleasure. He's an absolute delight to spend time with. He's a real sportsman. He'd never kited before in his life. He hadn't been able to do a lot of sport while he was president, so this was literally the day after he'd stepped down from being president, and he just threw himself into it.
Okay, there we go. Confirmation in Branson's own words. He was there literally the day after he became, or after he was done being president, while he was still running the country, the shadow government from behind the scenes.
When I saw he was running,
I didn't press play. Staging coup against President Trump and then installing Joe Biden so Obama could get his third and most honest term.
The death penalty is the ultimate injustice. It's inhumane, it's irreversible, and it's riddled with errors. And it doesn't deter crime, nor is it applied fairly. In many places, it's an arbitrary instrument of oppression. In the US alone, for every 8 people executed, at least 1 has been exonerated and freed from death row. And heavens knows how many were actually innocent when they were executed. The death penalty is the ultimate.
So, okay, there is Richard Branson clowning around all touchy-feely on Obama. Oh, I wonder. Okay, I want to tell you about this story. Holy shit. This is a sports story, but this is big. This crosses from sports into something else. Let's take a listen to this report.
What we know is that NBA executives were suspicious of how Steve Ballmer's Clippers landed the most valuable free agent on the market, Kawhi Leonard.
Steve Ballmer, formerly of Microsoft. How did they get Kawhi Leonard to sign there?
That the NBA did not find that Ballmer got Kawhi by sweetening their offer. But also that in March 2025, this celebrity-endorsed, multi-billion-dollar, allegedly fraudulent tree brokerage named Aspiration, which promises to clear your conscience and your emissions, they filed for bankruptcy. And this is where the clue is.
A green scam.
What David's looking at with his glasses on is a bankruptcy filing, and there's a list of creditors. The entities to which Aspiration and all of their alleged fraudulence still owes the most money. And what I noticed is what David is noticing right now, which is that on that list of creditors, up near the top, above the Boston Red Sox, is an LLC. A tiny little company that Aspiration owes $7 million. And that LLC's name, David, is what?
KL2 Aspire.
Kawhi Leonard.
LLC.
And what does it list there under manager or member name?
Kawhi Leonard.
Whose NBA jersey number, just to connect all of the dots here, happens to be what?
Number 2.
So then the question is, the Aspire part of KL2 Aspire LLC, right? Because, okay, he's getting all this money, millions of dollars. What I started doing was scour the internet for any mentions of Aspiration. Any appearances, tweets, quotes, Instagram posts, anything by Kawhi Leonard endorsing Aspiration. And this was hard to find. which also might seem weird, right? Because every other celebrity Aspiration gave money to was well known. There was Drake offering a statement to Rolling Stone. There was Doc Rivers, Kawhi's own head coach.
Oh.
Robert Downey Jr. was cutting his commercial. That was the whole point of paying the A-list Avengers. But the grand total number of times that I found Kawhi Leonard ever publicly referencing Aspiration, 0 times.
Right.
Kawhi Leonard mentioned Aspiration. And so
we got to put the dots together, wrap it up here, and explain what this means. But my initial reaction to this story is that Ballmer's going to be forced out at the Clippers, the same team that he stole from. What was that guy's name? Larry. The former Clippers owner. They made the mini movie about it. I forget.
What I started doing was reaching out to dozens of former Aspiration employees. A grand total of 7 of them ultimately agreed to interviews, which is also how I have exclusively obtained this signed and executed document.
In consideration of the rights and benefits granted to company hereunder, the company will pay KL2, which is Kawhi, $28 million in cash during the term of this agreement. Company will pay KL2 $7 million each year of the term.
That is Kawhi Leonard's autograph. I convinced one very important person who worked in the finance department of Aspiration to go on tape.
And I didn't so much as discover it as I was told about it.
What was your reaction?
I didn't so much discover it so much as I was told about it.
Were you told?
My reaction was, what the f***? And I was told, like, oh, these are the major contracts and the major players you really need to be aware of. And we went through a litany of, really, really top tier name contracts. And then, oh, by the way, we also have a marketing deal with Kawhi Leonard.
By the way, it's Donald Sterling was the name that escaped me, the previous Los Angeles Clippers owner.
A $28 million organic marketing sponsorship deal with Kawhi. And that if I had any questions about it, essentially don't, because it was to circumvent the salary cap, LOL. There was lots of LOL when things were shared.
Did you ever?
Lots of LOL. They couldn't pay him more, so they set him up with a no-show job that he literally didn't do anything for, so that he could make the extra money on the side, circumventing the salary cap rules and regulations that govern all of the teams in the National Basketball Association. If this is true, if this is proven, I think Ballmer's going to have to sell his team. Just like they ran Donald Sterling out. The same might happen to Steve Ballmer.
See proof of Kawhi Leonard marketing or endorsing Aspiration in any way?
Never, not once. The single largest payment to an individual for marketing that Aspiration ever made has completely evaded all press. It's honestly incredible. Nothing. He didn't have to do anything.
In other words, Kawhi Leonard got from Aspiration a $28 million no-show job.
Wait, I thought it was $7 million. This was 28? Oh my God.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm honestly so jealous. So jealous. I mean, he's got the dream. Like, it's within my beliefs to be paid $28 million and do absolutely all as well.
The Clippers, however, provided a statement on behalf of the organization and owner Steve Ballmer, which reads in part, quote,
"Oh boy.
Neither Mr. Ballmer nor the Clippers circumvented the salary cap or engaged in any misconduct related to Aspiration. Any contrary assertion is provably false."
So prove it.
End quote.
All right. Innocent unless proven otherwise, but that's
what we know is that NBA executives were suspicious of how Steve Ballmer's Clippers landed the most valuable.
All right. I didn't press play a second time. So if you're not following that story, just keep your eyes peeled. I mean, it's a big deal that you're circumventing the salary cap like that. It's not that it's unheard of, but and there were rumors that like if when Dan Gilbert got convinced LeBron, or maybe he didn't convince LeBron, maybe LeBron did want to come back to Cleveland in 2015, But there was this rumor that, yeah, if you come back, we can't pay you more. We have to do what we have to do to build the team around you so you can win a championship, which is what we want. But maybe we'll sell you a stake in the team. Maybe you can become the owner when you retire or something down the road. Promise a future payment or quiet money payments that don't show up on the stat sheets, don't show up on your ledgers for your teams. But man, if 28 million, I thought it was 7 million, or that was 7 million a year, and he was 3 years in on a 4-year. I don't know what it is exactly, but I'm very interested in following this story. Eric Daughtry says a federal court has rehired Democrat Rebecca Slaughter to the FTC, reversing President Trump's firing of her. The judges are declaring themselves president. It's unbelievable. So yeah, we have a serious judicial issue in the country. Okay, so yeah, this was a $28 million endorsement deal with a fraudulent tree planting company to circumvent the salary cap rules. That's huge allegation. Oh, this is Adam Carolla reminding us about the best 2 minutes of political internet coming from Adam Carolla. Not putting up with any of Gavin Newsom's BS. This is so worth watching again.
Half of African Americans in the state of California, roughly half of Latino families have no access to a checking account or an ATM.
There's music in the background. I can't. Doggone it. Check that out. It's a pretty, very telling. Gavin Newsom is absolutely full of it. I'd play it for you if there wasn't music there. Reports are confirming 4 to 6 AFD candidates and reserves have now died in North Rhine-Westphalia ahead of September 14th, 2025 local elections. Police investigations cite natural causes with no evidence of foul play, details withheld for privacy. AFD leaders are noting unusual timing, but officials say the deaths aren't unique to the party, sources BBC, New York Post, Independent. 6 German AFD candidates are now gone suddenly and unexpectedly before a key state election. AFD is the MAGA party, trying to kick out the illegal alien invaders that are trying to permanently change and alter the direction of that country. And now 6 of them are showing up as deleted. Very curious in Germany. John Lott posts this. President Trump talks about arming teachers to protect students in schools. Oh, here, let's just listen.
We know that this country has a huge problem with school shootings. You've said that you're open to sending the National Guard pretty much anywhere. Would you ever consider sending an armed National Guardsman to every school?
And by the way, I've always thought that retired military would be a perfect job to have, to work security for schools. Relatively low impact, relatively low stress, super important, very deterrent. I mean, it's like win-win-win. You could pay our veterans. Man, it's a great idea, I think.
Well, we have a big problem with school shooting, but we also have thousands and thousands of schools that run perfectly. You know, they talk about you can do things construction-wise, and that's really, I think nobody knows more about construction than me. You can build the construction doors. You can build what they call safety doors, where they lock on the outside, the inside, and every place else. Well, but if one of these lunatics happens to get through, then the police can't get in. Then they're looking for keys all over the place, and it takes a lot of disadvantages to doing, spending billions and billions of dollars and actually making it safer in some way for some of these lunatics that we're dealing with. But I don't think so. I've thrown out the concept. We have great teachers that love our children. The parents love the children. Teachers love the children too. And if you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military, that were distinguished in the military, that were in the National Guard, et cetera, and you let them carry. That's something that a lot of people like. I sort of liked it. I'd have to be studied, but they're trained. They know about weapons. You can't do it with every teacher because most teachers don't know, but I always thought that would be an alternative. But it just, we've we've had a lot of instances. Other countries have also. They have different kinds of problems than we have, but we do have. There's something going on. And it's a bad thing. Yes.
I kind of like the idea. What do you think? Do you like the idea? Do you agree that it would be a good idea to put either National Guard or retired military at all of our schools? Tell me in the comments. What do you think? I think it could be great. RoboCops? Yeah, for real. Soon. Actually, that's a reminder. I got to do that. Graded VHS. Yeah, I picked up sealed VHS, RoboCop and RoboCop 2. Kenneth agrees. Good, I think so. Yeah, and in reselling, if you can find VHS that are sealed, Marion agrees 100%. Sealed VHS, you can send them off for grading, and then they'll give you a score. How perfect it is. And they'll encapsulate them in like a plastic box, and then they're very collectible. You can make a lot of money on sealed VHS. But yeah, I have RoboCop and RoboCop 2. I've never sent anything out for grading before, so I've always just been kind of cautious about it. But I made a reminder. I'm gonna do it. I gotta send those out. Kira Sedgwick is talking about how afraid she is with Trump in office. I'm pretty scared about a lot of things. Scared about losing my rights as a woman. Scared about losing my right to vote as a woman. Scared about losing autonomy over my body as a woman. Adam Kroll's like, wasn't he the president once before? Like, what are you worried about? All right, Anna Paulina Luna discussing the Epstein stuff.
Well, there's 33,000 pages that have been released. I have to at least look over some of them. I'd like to get through all of them before I decide whether or not I'm going to do that, but I think that they've basically released everything except for the victim information, which obviously we don't release that. One thing to note that today when we were actually talking to some of the victims, one of the women stated that at 14 when Epstein started to victimize her, that she has no recollection of some of the stuff that was done to her. She's hoping to find that out so that she can actually bring it to her therapist and continue the healing process in regards to the damage and the trauma that was.
But if you can't remember things, you can implant false memories as well. I think there are some people who could get lumped in and guilt by association and like piling on mentality. There's a lot of problems with trying to prosecute this case. Like I'm sort of like thinking through some of the problems now. And what she just said reminded me of one. She can't remember what happened, but then what? She's going to get implanted with false memories or egged on or coerced or kind of led to giving certain answers
to her. So, but from what I'm being told, from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of very wealthy, bad people. It's actually scary to hear some of the stuff that was brought forward. And so I think the only way to collectively attack this is as a group and as a whole, meaning that Democrats and Republicans have to work together and back Comer's subpoenas, because I think this is going to be pretty hairy.
Is there more information beyond these 33,000 pages?
Well, there's going to be names. The attorneys kept emphasizing you need to follow up on the names. These girls are not just making this up. These are some of the wealthiest people probably in the world. And we'll start from there.
So they named individual people that are part of this.
Apparently in these files that just dropped, I have not been able to look over all the files. Again, there's 33,000
I'm talking about
pages
in the meeting.
There are some people named, yes.
Were there any public officials that they named?
No, but very, very wealthy people have been named.
Can you name out here?
They told us not to because they don't want those people to start basically burning files. So I think this is going criminal investigation for sure. I will say that what's been released, obviously the American people have wanted for a long time. Kudos to the DOJ for getting it to us. I know that some of the delay was due to redacting victim information, and so we'll see where it goes.
There we have it. I saw someone post, will somebody please go through 33,000 pages and tell me what I need to know already? I know how many of us want to do the actual work and how many of us just want to opine once we think we know what's going on. Alien UFO sightings put this out and says Stanley Kubrick died of a heart attack in his sleep 6 days after showing the final cut of Eyes Wide Shut to Warner Brothers. He reportedly considered it his greatest contribution to the art of cinema. Many have speculated that he was murdered for it and that this scene is why. So check that out if you're interested. Airbnb in San Diego.
What the
Why are they playing music? So they rented an Airbnb and then they filmed themselves absolutely destroying this house. Look at this. I would play it, but there's music. It's so stupid. There's music. Could you imagine? Like, I've done some stupid stuff in my day. I've done some stupid stuff. Things that I would like, if I had a chance to live my life a second time, I would regret doing that. And they're all filming themselves committing these crimes. Man, the smartest thing you could do if you were one of these people is get the fuck out of there. But man, the dangers of Airbnb reminded right there. Good grief. So there's a thought here that this player, what's the guy's name?
Fromber is going to shake. It's very subtle, but it's there. And we're going to take a look at it. All right, folks, we got fireworks in Space City, and we're going to take a look at what's gone down. What I want you to pay attention to here is the head of Fromber Valdez. Fromber
Valdez. They're saying he hit the catcher intentionally after being
high. Okay, whatever. Well,
I don't know if I can't
remember.
I can't play it for you because they grab the screen share and they'll stop you. They'll flag it. Flag it. Necker Island, Necker. Got to enunciate clearly. But yeah, they're saying an Astros pitcher intentionally hit his catcher when he got upset with him. So look for that story if you're curious. I'd be curious to get your thoughts, but I don't think I can play you the clip. James Fishback reporting here. 450 economists back Cook and Fed independence in an open letter. James is saying, in other words, 450 economists support mortgage fraud? Got it. We said, oh, so 51 intelligence officials are colluding? Remind us of that farce about the Hunter Biden laptop. Or was it 53 traitorous liars? Something like that. Pierce Morgan takes an athlete suffering from gender dysphoria on the spot.
You should, I think in your case, you should either compete against male pickleball players or compete.
Well, that's what you think.
Or compete in
but you are not everybody. Pierce.
Or you compete
and
in a
I do agree that there are many who agree with you, and there are many who agree with me.
No, there are not many that agree that a dude putting on makeup gets to smash a bunch of girls in a competitive pickleball league. No.
That there is no threat.
I don't know why you want to be
transgender women.
Sarah, why do you want to be a cheat? I mean, seriously, why do you want to be a cheat?
Why do you want to be a cheat?
That's what you're doing. You're cheating.
Cheating? No,
yes.
That's very disrespectful. I think that's
you know what, Dr. Webley? It really isn't. It cuts to the heart of the debate. It is cheating. It is knowingly using a superior biology from birth to beat women who are born with female bodies.
100%.
It is cheating.
Also, the sky is blue and water is wet.
Cheating.
I'm not a scientist.
And it's time to call it.
I'm not a scientist. Yeah, you're a dude.
Out for what it is. And Dr. Webley, the idea you're a doctor and don't think that this is about science.
I'm not a scientist. You don't need to be a scientist to know that you're a man, born a man, and should be competing against men. That's it. Any woman can compete against men if they choose to sign a waiver knowing how dangerous, reckless, and ill-advised it would be to compete against against men physically. You could be seriously harmed. So much stronger, so much more powerful on average. Not every man or woman, of course. Just 90%, which is why you don't do it, which is why you start separate leagues to begin with.
Is breath.
I'm not a scientist. Oh, what a disingenuous thing to say.
To me. Breathtaking. Of course it's about
human
science.
Being. I'm a doctor, I'm a human being, I'm a compassionate person.
What's that got to do with it?
I'm a human being. I have compassion to let women get steamrolled in their sports leagues. That's not compassion. That's anti-woman.
Why aren't you compassionate to women who are losing gold medals to men?
I don't understand why you have this, both of you have this huge thing where we have to, not one single woman must be affected by these terrible trans people.
Nobody should be affected by it. Not a single one.
What about inclusion? We are living.
What about inclusion? Yeah, you can include yourself competing against the boys. Tough guy, go ahead. Could you imagine the shame you would bring to your family and your community beating up on girls as a dude? That is a shameful act.
In a world where we want everybody.
Oh, it's got nothing to do with inclusion. This is where the trouble starts.
It has everything.
What's inclusive about women losing to men at boxing?
Nothing.
What's inclusive about
very
that?
Clearly that in this panel we have 3 women and we have 1 man. You've been very clear about that.
Well, you
and
have 2 women.
What? No, I know Tommy Lahren. I don't know her, but she's saying she's a woman, and this is the guy, right?
Have 1 man. You've been very clear about that.
Well, you
and
have
the
2 women,
here
1 man, and 1 trans woman.
I don't know, the whole... Sarah, why do you want to be a cheat? This video is allegedly showing German grandmas crying in fear of Islamists. I'm looking at this, though, and it just seems like a bunch of happy people singing, but they have their terrorist flag up there. That's not a terrorist flag. That's a Palestinian flag. Yeah, that's the flag of Hamas, is it not? But they're saying that there's a woman terrified and crying here. Our grandparents survived and rebuilt the country that this regime is destroying. Our elderly barely receive a pension anymore. The system is not incentivizing families to have more kids. Here's a report from Jesse Waters. New Russiagate evidence points to Obama. 20 CIA and FBI insiders just confirmed, according to Johnny Midnight, that Barack Obama and a former CIA director orchestrated the entire Russia hoax and then hid it in a CIA vault for nearly a decade. Babylon Bee, City of Chicago sues murder victims. I'll say this right. City of Chicago sues murder victims. That's like something resonance, sibilance. The French toast flies alone. City of Chicago sues murder victims for not getting out of the way of bullets. Coming soon to a city near you. Airbnbs. Yeah, not Airbnb, Airbnbs. So who pays for that? Like you gotta charge all those vandals. Is Airbnb gonna cover the repair costs? Oh my God, the bad publicity. That has me questioning whether I would ever rent Airbnb ever. Thomas Massey says, our discharge petition to force a vote on releasing the Epstein files garnered 134 signers, and they're more than halfway to 218. Thanks to Representative Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Nancy Mace for signing the petition and standing up for victims. Where are the men? Brianna Morello says DHS Secretary Kristi Noem today fired several FEMA employees for viewing pornographic content on government-issued devices during work hours. Investigation into FEMA employee conduct revealed that nearly half of the agency's staff regularly access social media platforms while carrying out their taxpayer-funded responsibilities. OSINT Defender shared this. Footage released by the Department of Defense shows today. Hang on. I'm trying to full screen it. And there was a precision strike by the U.S. Navy against a vessel belonging to the Cartel of the Suns in the southern Caribbean Sea off the coast of Venezuela. Watch. Kaboom. They're not putting up with what Venezuela's doing. They're calling them cartels. It's an illegitimate government. And we are now at war with Venezuela, blowing up their boats. How do we feel about that? I mean, it's going to get pretty tough to become a drug mule if you know that the boats are going to start exploding. Here it goes. 3, 2, 1. And then they were no more. Brian Cates says, take note, this was low-hanging fruit. No attempt to interdict or intercept. No attempt to effect arrests. No warnings issued. The people on the boat seem completely unaware of the missiles coming. The entire posture of that fake 50-year war on drugs being fought before today just changed. It will now be a real war on drugs. Recruiting crews for new boats, planes, and trucks for continued drug smuggling into the United States is about to become a real bitch. This TikToker, listen to what they have to say.
All right, guys, we're about 6 weeks in. Who's going to do it? Who's going to take one for the team and do it?
6 weeks in. So is this from January, February?
And I'm not going to say what it is, because I know that you know that I know what we're all thinking. Who's going to do it?
No, we're not all thinking that, and you appear to be very mentally ill.
It can't be me. I'm a dance teacher.
It can't be you because you're a teacher.
I got things to do. But somebody's got to do it. Someone's got to take one for the team. Because we're 6 weeks in. I can't do 4 more years of this, guys. All right, guys.
Is this parody? She's teaching people? Where is she teaching people? Actually, that's my question to Grok. Is this a parody video? Seems kinda fake. My spidey senses are off with that one. Marjorie Taylor Greene, 4-minute clip, but I'll tell you what she said. She said she's committed to doing everything possible for the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, including exposing the cabal of rich and powerful elites that enabled this. She's proud to be signing Representative Thomas Massey's discharge petition. We've had Ford Fisher from News to Share on the show before. He's filming this.
We're here with the folks to see the Congresswoman.
She's not available right now. I'm so sorry about
Is she in?
And that's Don Lemon. Don Lemon leads a mob of leftists into Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's office at the Capitol to demand President Trump's impeachment for what? They're told to leave and have the door slammed behind them, and then they're reprimanded by Capitol Police. Paul Cispula says arrest these invaders. So Ford was there filming that.
Contact their office at a different time if you guys would like a meeting with the Congresswoman. Can we leave word for her? Patients that started that. This is Jessica Benson with the removal commission.
So either whoever, we don't permit recording in this office.
So I'm gonna have to ask you to stop recording. This is a private office.
Yes, and we're here to see the Congresswoman.
You're not residents of our district, and you haven't requested.
Yes, well, we're here requesting a meeting.
Well, again, your group is still recording. If you continue to record,
Well,
we're going to have to contact the Capitol Police.
Okay.
When Ford hears
Do you
this,
know when
Ford
she's
starts walking out of the room.
Get her or be in touch with you back?
No, I don't.
Okay.
We're here.
So he literally goes right to the edge of the door. But he is technically still filming in the office.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, that happened. Found that interesting. Don Lemon. Gateway Pundit reports Attorney Clevenger threatens to call in Attorney General Pam Bondi to testify in Seth Rich case in the Department of Justice's withholding of key documents. Claims that documents will point to an inside job at the Democrat National Committee in an email leak. Yeah, Seth Rich is and was a GD hero. Here's a shooting. Aurora police. There's a car crash, and this guy starts coming after him. Anyway, I don't need to play it. Vibe check. But it seemed like this guy wanted things to end. And he kind of got what he was asking for. Sageza Eterna says everyone's talking about the allegations of mortgage fraud against Fed Governor Lisa Cook, which is the Fed is a private banking cartel of slave masters who want you perpetually in debt forever. like they're your property. But that's just the cover story. The real scandal is a decade-long trail of academic fraud, cancel culture extremism, and radical politics that put an unqualified activist at the heart of our economy. This isn't about one mortgage. It's about the deliberate corruption of America's most important financial institution. Check that article out. Or it's a whole thread, rather. Rasmussen says, good morning. The real reason for the recent CDC resignations is that the ACIP subcommittee on COVID-19 vaccines got approval to investigate the safety and efficacy of COVID vaccines. And they knew the gig was up, or the jig was up. Truth was about to come out, and they would have to account for their actions. So there you go. That's why people are resigning and going after Bobby Kennedy. And by the way, the monsters apparently, allegedly, sicked one of their attack dogs on me. You saw it last week. We mentioned Bobby Kennedy and autism and health and wellness and Center for Disease Control and Health and Human Services. This guy comes out of the woodwork trying to destroy me, threatening to end my life because I dare talk about health. Fuck you, buddy. I can talk about health all day. You know what? I'm going to talk about health even more. And by the way, the person that came in to threaten me never explained what they claimed I was lying about. It was just a rage that's been reported to the FBI and to YouTube and to Restream and every other fucking person I could think of, because I'm not going to be silenced or intimidated by you fucking prick. By the way, sorry, vibe check. But it's not every day. Like I said in many of my reports, I've been doing shows for 14 years and I've never had somebody come in and threaten my life like that. All because they're terrified of Bobby Kennedy for some reason. I wonder, it feels like Health and Human Services is the linchpin, the pharmaceutical industrial complex, the linchpin to COVID, the mail-in ballots, overthrowing Trump, releasing COVID intentionally, potentially. Yeah, I think that was a potentially intentional release by the lab that Fauci et al. Allegedly paid for to circumvent and offshore their gain-of-function research that they were told they were not allowed to do because it was too dangerous. Oh, yeah. CDC resignations and this all-on attack at Bobby Kennedy. You're finding the real demons. The masks are coming off. And imagine getting paid to go after people because you want people harmed or dead or sick or something. It's madness. But yes, Kenneth, you'll be proud. I ran my own vibe check on that previous story and I didn't show the video. But, the more footage we have, the less people can lie about what's actually happening. I think one of the big, it's so weird. I can't see my stats on X. Oh, wait, do I have to click it to see my channels? I still can't see. I see that I'm streaming, but I can't see. That's so weird. Anyway, I did a vibe check. Okay, Greg Price says Illinois Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton is directing illegal aliens in her state to go to a website that provides them resources to evade immigration enforcement and get a lawyer. We said this sounds like aiding and abetting the invasion of America, which sounds a lot like treason. When will we finally start holding these Democrat traitors liable for their actions? Hey, check this out. Look at this. Look at. Everybody, look. Everybody, look. Hey, do you see this? It's the missing minute. Allegedly. Missing minute, according to Shadow of Ezra, the missing minute from Jeffrey Epstein's surveillance footage has finally been released. The original tape jumped from 11:58 p.m. straight to midnight, but the recovered clip reveals guards walking toward Epstein's cell at 11:59:39, just seconds before midnight. Where are we at? 23:59:32. So at 39 seconds right here. There it is. Look. There's the guard walking. Right there. That was cut out of the first one now, wasn't it? I don't know what that's supposed to tell us. More people moving. Let's get the update direct from James Comer, who broke some major news, according to Benny Johnson. Hey, buckle up for the people that say, what's happening? There's no arrests. Nothing's happening. I get it. And I'm screaming that too. But, you know, like they used to say about Trump, the walls are closing in. They used to always, oh, the walls are closing in on Trump. The walls are closing in on Trump. The walls are closing in on Trump. No. I think the walls are legitimately closing in on the deep state now. Take a listen to this.
Just give a quick update. I think everyone knows.
And by the way, I'll believe it when I see it, but I'm a little bit more hopeful after today.
Who all we've subpoenaed thus far in the initial batch. We subpoenaed 6 former attorneys general, as well as the Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. We've expanded that to Alex Acosta.
Alex Acosta.
Acosta's coming in, I believe, September the 19th.
Okay, so he is booked to come in on the 19th. You better protect that guy.
16th or 19th, we've got that date down. I know that we'll have a lot of questions for him with respect to an earlier Epstein prosecution that he was involved in when he was U.S. attorney. We have the documents, the initial batch that had been sent by the White House. As you know, we also subpoenaed Pam Bondi for those documents. The White House is working with us. I want to publicly thank the White House for turning over so many documents thus far. We're in the process of uploading those documents for full transparency so everyone in America can see those documents. It's as quick as we can get them uploaded, and as the speaker said, they're 34,000 pages. So we're doing everything we can to get those uploaded. We want those to be public as soon as possible. And then we're going to continue to bring in more people. We learned of some additional names today. We're going to do everything we can to give the American public the transparency they seek, as well as to provide accountability in memory of the victims who have already passed away, as well as those that were in the room and many others who haven't come forward. So we're sincere about this. This was a 2.5-hour discussion. It was as bipartisan as anything I've seen in the 9 years I've been here. Appreciate the speaker for giving us the authority to seek out everything that I think you all want and the people that I talk to as I travel America want. We're going to do everything we can to get the answers and to do it as soon as possible.
All right, so things are happening. Hopefully it's not just investigations and reports. Like, we need action. Speaking of action, don't be like this lady. When you're approached by a cop and they ask for your license and registration, you don't ask 1,000 questions and you don't keep avoiding the subject. You show your license and registration and you carry on. Or you can get arrested.
5th time I tell you now.
But you have
This is the 5th time I tell you. Put your hands on your steering wheel or you're going to get dragged out of the car. We can do this a simple way. Okay.
What are you doing?
All right.
No, sir, please don't touch me.
Do not do this.
I'm just scared. I'm sorry.
I got you. Step out of the car.
I'm just scared.
Step out of the car. Step out of the car.
These Democrats have terrified people. Although, judging by her accent, I am not entirely certain if she is a legal resident, which you might legitimately be scared. If you're in the country illegally, go to the CBP Home app and go back to where you came from and walk back through the front door if you want to be in this country. You don't get to sneak in and stay. But all of those fake stories of everything the Democrats have been pushing for the past couple decades, it's caused so much damage to the minds of people that watch CNN, MSNBC, who listen to Democrats. It's a massive detriment to these people succeeding and avoiding extra problems. And we'll stop it there. We'll stop it there. Yes, David, people have already lied. There's tons of lies all over the place. Fingers crossed. We're also hearing disclosure might be coming from Alabama as well. What type of disclosure? Alien disclosure? We've heard Marco Rubio, Anna Paulina Luna. We've heard people talk about things. I don't know. Just something to keep our eyes on. And we'll be back tomorrow, keeping our eyes on things. We'll do 2 shows tomorrow. We'll do the TNAM Daily Show at noon, and then we're going to do Strictly Football. I don't know what time. I don't know if it'll be 6 p.m. Eastern again. But keep your eyes peeled. It might be 6 p.m. Eastern, unless we hear otherwise. So thank you for being here as we dump the news on the table like a trash panda. Please visit your nearest Home Depot. I mean, wouldn't that be a good idea to put Home Depot as deport locations? Lots of parking. Lots of laborers are going there for work. And look, look, if there are Americans who can work American jobs, I want Americans to work American jobs. If we do need a labor force, well, I am okay letting people come into America on a work visa. Once you've shown up at the front door, you get a purple card. You don't get a green card. You're not a citizen, but you could have a temporary worker pass. You got to show up once a month, once a quarter, every 3 months, every 4 months, 3 times a year, twice a year, something. I don't know what. Get on the radar. Say, no, I've been vetted. I've been vetted. And people know who I am. You checked out my background. And I'm here to contribute. I'm here to work. I'm not a problem. I won't be a problem to the community. And I'd like to stay here and work. I'm okay with that. But like I said, I do want Americans working those jobs first and foremost. So, you know, it is what it is. So let me bid you adieu. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon and evening as we go out into the universe and take care of things we need to take care of. I'll be back tomorrow. Signing out. On behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM network, I appreciate you. I love you. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace out.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.